Narcissistic supply, grade A versus the new source of supply. Which is more meaningful to the narcissist? Tap in and we'll discuss it. Loved ones, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for watching as always. Let's get right into the topic discussion. The narcissistic supply, grade A versus the new sources of supply. And we'll get right into that. And before we do, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and for your support as always. All right, with no hesitation, we'll get to the topic. I would like to preface my comments as always by saying, I am not a clinical professional. I am not a psychoanalyst. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. I'm none of that. I'm just a woman who is speaking from her experience, and I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know based on my personal experience, research, and fact finding. All right, so let's talk about it. The narcissistic supply. Okay, this is an opportunity for us to feel seen and to be heard and to share information. All right. This is not about division, separation, competition, or comparison. We have all had our own personal experience, but we can use that to uplift one another and for our good to share this information so that others feel that they are not alone and so that people can feel heard and know that they're understood. All right. That is the purpose. That is the purpose for creating this content. It's not about division or separation at all. All right. We are on a journey together. It's not about me. It's about you. It's not just about you, it's about me. All right. Grade A supply. You'll hear within the community as you're, looking for information, as you're viewing content for other creators, and shout out to those creators making content. Check the description after you watch the video. If you want more information, I will give some recommendations and pay homage to creators who helped me out at the beginning stages of my healing journey. All right. And that's important to me to share information. All right. I am not a gatekeeper. All right. I'm just giving you my perspective. And that is all, But you'll hear the term grade A supply. And honestly, for me, the term grade A supply never set well with me. And the reason I say that is because it has a bit of a hint or a feel or a connotation, if you will, as if, something is better than the other. And while I do understand that there's a more potent source of supply versus maybe just a back burner, when you're dealing with someone who's toxic and they don't have any integrity and they don't connect with their feelings the same way that you or I might, or they don't have good intentions for anyone, at the end of the day, they have bad intentions. Like they're not going to do right. I say all that to say, like, grade A supply simply just means, as far as I'm concerned, this was a person who was a lot more willing to be tolerant. You were someone who a narcissist saw, for whatever reason, fit to make you a main source of supply, which is very telling, in my opinion. Again, and we have to be willing to accept responsibility for the part that we had to play. And I can say for myself personally, I was, at the time when I was in a connection in my most recent narcissistic or toxic relationship, I was the main source of supply. There was a time where we were cohabitating. I was the main source of supply. I don't take that as a compliment. All right. So do with that what you will. But basically what that means was that person was a lot more comfortable to conduct themselves around me, maintain their other sources of supply. They were comfortable with the cycle and how it was set in place. Love bomb, devaluation, and discard. They were comfortable with my response to that. Somewhere along the line, they had become confident that I would participate, and they were comfortable to build their other sources of supply around me, whether they were sources of supply that existed before we had met, ones that they'd encountered during and after. You know what I mean? So based on my, like I said, personal experience and the knowledge that I've gained since that situation, I've come to the understanding that being the grade A supply is not a good thing. It isn't. We all would come out a lot better, and salute to those who, in their personal experience, based on their knowledge, they were also the main source of supply. But also, if you were just a back burner supply, you know what I mean? Respect to you as well. Hopefully that means that you're in a position where you can go no contact, and it will be a less strenuous process to do. Usually when you're the main source of supply, it's harder. it's a lot harder to break free because, like I said, when they find a supply source that they find abundant and they find pious and copious and is intense and continues to regenerate that energy for them to siphon, if they look to make you the main source of supply, they're going to set certain things in place to keep you there in a way that they wouldn't necessarily do to a auxiliary or a back burner supply, or just a supply that they're interacting with that is outside of the country or doesn't live in the same city or state or whatever the case may be. If you're right there, it's a reason for it. And like I said, I'm more than willing to accept responsibility. I take accountability for that. I know exactly, where my areas of opportunity are and where I fell a bit short. And I've been doing that shadow work, to ensure that I'm not finding myself in a perpetual pattern of these toxic relationships. And I would strongly recommend that you do the same. You take your power back when you accept responsibility. When you play the blame game, if you stay in the victim chair, it makes it harder for you to make that change and for you to break free and reconnect to yourself, reconnect to your own voice, reconnect to what is healthy and what is right for you. Yes, that toxic person that you were with had a part to play, but you have to own that it was a choice that you made somewhere along the line that put you in that position. And that's how we grow, right? So we accept that and we go on and we move forward with that to ensure that, again, we're not finding ourselves in a perpetual cycle of toxic and unhealthy relationships for ourselves, right? So moving forward, main source of supply, they're going to look to set certain things in place to keep you there. All right. Pay attention to that. Be aware of what is going on around you at all times. Marriages, children and family, contracts, paperwork, a lease, a new business, purchasing a home, a vehicle. These are just some examples of things that would make it a lot more difficult for you to break free of that toxic cycle, love bomb, devaluation, and discard. It'll make it a lot more difficult for you to break free of that if you're in a contract with the toxic person or the narcissist that you're with. Okay, so pay attention to that. And if you are in those situations, definitely don't be discouraged. It's going to be difficult. I'd be remiss if I spoke on it any other way. It is going to make it a bit more difficult, but it's not to say that it shouldn't be done and that it can't be done, that you find yourself in that no contact stage where you're breaking free and you're beginning your healing journey. All right. Whether the grade A supply versus a new supply is more meaningful, I guess really when it comes down to it, only a toxic person or a narcissist could really speak on that intelligently. But I'll give my opinion. What I would say, the new source, it's just different. That's truly my outlook on it. I don't know if one is necessarily better than the other. They're just different. So let's unpack what would come with a new source of supply. The new source of supply, this is someone that they've been vetting for a while. They must have checked off certain boxes. There were certain characteristics about that person that made the toxic person or the narcissist feel comfortable to bring them into the fold and add them to the supply garage, to add them to their shelf of supply. It was something about that individual that made them feel comfortable to be able to do that. All right. But keep in mind, even with the intensity and the consistency and the longevity that may be present with the grade A supply, one thing they'll never be is new again. One thing you'll never be is new again. Once you've kind of gone through those cycles, you're not new anymore. And now you're beginning to figure out that this connection that you're in is unhealthy. It's low vibrational and it's counterintuitive to relationships that you had been in the past. Even though, honestly, the reason that you're probably here is because you're no longer in those relationships, but yet and still, you're going to come to notice over time, it's not a fit. Something doesn't feel right. There's something about this relationship that is unlike any other relationship that I was ever in, good, bad, or indifferent. So that's what comes with being a grade A source of supply. All right. Even though they want to keep you around as long as humanly possible, the narcissist or toxic person comes into these relationships understanding that it's not going to last. They are very well aware of that. However, they want it to last as long as they possibly can. All right. Another thing I want to make mention of as the grade A source of supply, and this is going to be tough to take, but you're providing fuel not only for that narcissist or toxic person, but you're giving supply and energy to the other people that they're entertaining. That was a bit difficult for me to process when I came across that, but I mean, it made sense. But that's what's happening. Your energy is not only fueling the connection that you're in, but you're fueling the other connections that they're in with the other sources of supply. So when it comes to a new source of supply, they're green. They're unaware. They don't necessarily know what it is that they're dealing with. All right. And there's levels to everything in life. Again, this isn't about comparison. This is just information based on my experience and how I've seen things play out for myself, like with my own eyes. It's not about better or worse. It's about timing, and it's about the stages. Toxic and narcissistic relationships tend to be cyclical. They happen on a cycle. Okay. And over time, cycle translates to a pattern. You can anticipate it. If you remain long enough to go through the cycles with this toxic person or this narcissist, you're going to come to learn the pattern to a point where you're going to almost be able to anticipate it as it's happening. And because you're also probably becoming numb to it in the process, it's a pattern that you're in, and it's going to happen over and over and over. That has nothing to do with you, and that has everything to do with the toxic person that you're in a connection with. That's not going to change. Your narcissist or toxic person is not unique in that way. It's going to happen on a cycle. They only have so much energy to distribute. And as much as they try to keep, their supply shelf stocked, they try to keep, supply around as much as they possibly can. That's something that they're not always in control of, because seasons change and people grow. People elevate. People, start to put the pieces together. And in my opinion, it's hard out here. It's harder and harder over time to find supply sources, especially like a quote unquote grade A supply that they can build, around. Those types of people who are going to be that patient, that tolerant, give that many passes, let that much stuff go by. Like, those people are hard to come by. That's not going to happen all the time, which is why they look to Hoover. If you hadn't had an opportunity to check out, some of the other videos in this series, Healing and Understanding, I'll go ahead and link it here. Feel free to check that out at your leisure to get information about the discard, reverse discard, hoovering, triangulation, just so you can get a better understanding of the cycles of being in a toxic or narcissistic relationship if you are unfamiliar. All right. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The new supply, they're unaware. And that's the benefit. That, to me, based on my knowledge, that's one of the main benefits of the new supply, is the fact that they don't know yet. Grade A supply, you never be new again. The new source of supply that they've been vetting, that they've been planting those seeds, they've begun that love bomb phase with them. They've had them kind of waiting in the wings for their opportunity. Put me in, coach. Like, they're waiting for their chance to get put into the game. They're doing everything right. They're each, playing that game with their representatives, tiptoeing around each other, making sure no one is irritating anyone else, making sure that they get along. They're saying all the right things. They're doing all the right things. They're doing that toxic dance with each other over here. With this new supply. But it's the chase. It's the chase, from a perspective of actually getting to know you and connecting with you and understanding who you are as a person, what your interests are, things that you've been through in the past, things that make you happy, things that give you gratification, things that, get you going. That's not the narcissist or toxic person's interest whatsoever. You're not in it for the same things, I would assume. You're not in it for the same things. Longevity and taking it as far with you as they possibly can in a way that's healthy without looking to possess you is not the interest of a toxic or narcissistic person. They're not really much concerned at all how you feel, as long as they can keep you around, which is why they devalue and they discard. Once they have you, they feel like they have you. They're entitled. They feel like they own you. That's the mindset. That's the energy behind the moves that they make and the routes that they take. They already have you in their mind. All right. They live in a false sense of reality, an inflated sense of self that unless you've ever been there or experienced it, you wouldn't understand it without ever having seen it up close. And this doesn't necessarily just pertain to romantic or intimate relationships. Keep this in mind. This can be a family member, a parent, a sibling, a distant relative, a platonic friend. So if any of it applies, implement it. All right. So with the new suppliers, I've been going through that vetting process with them, and it's that chase that's giving them a sense of supply, a sense of energy that they don't necessarily get from you the same exact way. And it's not so much that it's quote unquote better, I would say. It's just different, because eventually, depending on what you do as the main source of supply, who is in one of the latter stages, devaluation or discard, that may cause them to view the new supply differently, right? If things are moving and operating the way that the narcissist or the toxic person would want, you're chasing them as they're pursuing someone else. It's a cold game. All right. But that's the way the narcissist wants it. They want to know that no matter what is going on and what their focus is for someone else, what they're going through, what they have going on, they want to know that you're going to be there. They want to know that you're going to be there. So while they're chasing someone else, you're supposed to be chasing them. And that is orgasmic, I would say, for a narcissist. The fact that while they're pursuing someone else, you're showing them in your actions, and basically like that's their way of rationalizing what they're doing. You know, you must be okay with it. Why would someone continue to pursue me if they didn't agree with what it was I was doing over here? So as they're pursuing this new supply, giving them the attention that you think that you're worthy of, they're showering the new supply with the gifts that you feel that you deserve. They're making time to go on the trips with this new supply that you and the toxic person had planned to be on together. That's going to make you feel a way, and it's supposed to. It's all antics. It's all antics and performance. All antics and performance. They're the great pretenders who love to control a narrative, and they do it masterfully. They do it masterfully. That is a form of triangulation in itself. It's like a default triangulation. The fact that you see that the energy has changed, a distance is there between you and that toxic person, and you feel that distance, and you come to find out through your own fact finding, however you go about that. Sometimes they'll tell you. If they're really bold, if they really have you where they want, they'll tell you just to see how you react. They'll let you know. They'll plant those seeds of doubt and insecurity within you to let you know that there is a possibility of someone else, to create that default triangulation within itself while they're pursuing this new supply, showering that new supply, giving them the love, attention, validation that you once craved from them and that you've given to them. They're giving it to someone else. That's supposed to make you come running. And for some of us, it does, until we know better. For some of us, it does. But if you, as the main source of supply, let's say, you don't appreciate what's happening, you're starting to reconnect with that voice inside of yourself. You know what's right for you. You're done playing the game. You're done with the sickness. You're done with the toxicity. You're done with the lies and the games and the manipulation. And you begin to focus on yourself, and you kind of just pull back. I call that the rubber band, by the way. I refer to that as the rubber band. And that's not just in toxic or narcissistic relationships. That's in any connection that you're in. In my opinion, based on my experience, when you look to impose your will on someone, when it comes to a connection, it's like the opposites. It's like magnets. It's like positive and positive. They bounce off of each other. It doesn't work when you try to impose your will. But when you decide to focus on self, focus on your own healing, focus on getting yourself together, and you kind of just fall back and give that rubber band, it will draw that other entity back into you. That has been my experience. And again, I call that the rubber band. I don't chase in this age, stage, and phase. I attract. That's how I look to attain the things in this life that I want. I look to attract them. And when it comes to people, when it's healthy, I believe in leading in what I want in people. If I want more of your time, I'll look to make myself available in a way that's healthy. If I want more love and energy from you, I'll look to give that in a way that's healthy, but with wisdom and discernment and with my boundaries intact. That's in a healthy situation. But a narcissist wants to feel you chase them. You know what I mean? They want that from you. Whereas for me, I'm more of a fallback kind of individual. And when you get that fallback, when you give that rubber band, and like I said, this is any connection, they're going to notice after a while, like, wait a minute. This isn't going how I anticipated. Like, what's going on? The focus has changed. The vibe has changed. The energy changed. They're off over there doing their own thing. And that's what it is. So at that point, if you implement that rubber band, it's going to make them start to interact differently with the new source of supply, because they went from being something new and shiny and fun and unaware to the cause of them losing their main source of supply. They end up being the thing that made them lose their main source of supply. So it makes them look at the new supply differently. You got to understand, you're dealing with someone who is emotionally stunted. All right. They're not interested in going through the different seasons. They're not looking for longevity in the sense of a healthy connection, but they are looking to keep you around as long as humanly possible. But you got to understand your power at all times. Understand your power. People are not to be possessed, they're to be experienced. So if you know your power and you understand that you're not being handled correctly, right? You're not getting the energy and love that you need. If your boundaries and your mind are being respected, you got to implement that distance. And once you do that, your value starts to change in the eyes of a toxic person. And keep in mind, this isn't, someone healthy that you're dealing with. So it's not about them. We're not making our growth and our healing and our understanding and our self-worth about them. This is for us now. It's about us. But that's what's going to end up happening. It's going to make them look at the new supply differently. And now it's very highly likely, depending on the situation, if you were the main source of supply, like you were the provider, let's say you were the provider, you were cohabitating, like you took care of business, you made it happen. They need you more in that sense. Unless they, know the new supply is ready to step in, but you're already in place. And in a sense, there's a value to being the grade A supply, the steady Eddie, as I also like to call it, is value in being the steady Eddie, because you already know them. You know what they're about. And if you've been tolerant of them, and if you've been giving them the space to move about the country and do whatever it is they do, and you're not, requiring more of them, you're not questioning them, you're not giving them resistance, then there's comfort in that, in a sense. It's like, you got to understand, these people don't know what they want. You know what I mean? And what they want changes from minute to minute, second to second. It changes day to day. It changes. It goes back and forth. And that's another reason why it's important for them to have multiple sources of supply, because what they want today is not necessarily going to be what they want tomorrow. And you're just supposed to accept that. You're just supposed to accept that. In their mind, they own you, and they're the best that you're ever going to be able to do. Or at least that's what they want you to believe. But even being on your own and on a journey and healed is better than being in a situation like that. I can attest to that. I'm living proof. So make no mistake about that. But that's what they would want you to believe. And that's one of the seeds that they like to plant in your mind, is that toxic person that you're with is the best that you're ever going to be able to do. They would love nothing more than for you to believe that about yourself. Don't allow that. Don't ever allow someone to belittle you or minimize your worth or your energy. Never. Never. So when it really boils down to it, this isn't the type of thing that's about logic or about fact, because again, there's levels. We each have our own individual understandings and experiences about this. And because from second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. They want different things and they have different needs, and they're unstable. They're insecure even within themselves. These narcissists and toxic people, they're unsure of themselves. They're constantly pretending and lying and manipulating. They're all over the place. But as the main source of supply, you fuel a lot of that in your actions, and by sitting back and enabling them in a sense to be able to do that. And they're draining you of your energy little by little. They're draining you of your energy. And while you have the ability to generate your own, it's going to weigh on you after a while. It's going to wear you down. If you're human, it's going to wear you down for someone to constantly be taking and taking and taking and taking from you and giving you nothing back of substance or of meaning. You're fueling these other situations. You're the stability. You're the steady Eddie. You're the one that they know they can fall back on. You're the one that for the last 2 or 3 cycles you've been there. You're the one that through the love bomb, devaluation, and discard, you're still there. You're the one who responds to the Hoovers. You're the one who participates in these reverse discards. That's not a compliment to be the grade A source of supply, in my opinion. I'd much rather be the person in the love bomb that ended up being discarded because they began to see that I had other options, or I wasn't as focused on them as they would hope I was, or because I traveled, or because I was goal oriented, or because I wasn't going to participate in the toxicity and the lies and the arguments and making a scene in public and the gaslighting and the projection. I'd rather be that person, right? And the new source of supply is unaware. That's one of their main benefits. And it's those beginning stages of being with the new supply that makes it so enjoyable, and just the possibility. These people get enjoyment from the possibility of being able to manipulate you over the long term. Whereas the honeymoon phase in relationships, in traditional relationships, is enjoyable because it's new and it's fun, it's exciting. You're just now getting to know each other. For the narcissist or toxic person, is actually the opposite. They're pretending the whole time, and they're going to punish you for it. They're not enjoying the love bomb phase. What they're enjoying, though, is the energy that they're getting from you during that phase. They're not enjoying you at all. They're not enjoying you for you. They're enjoying the fantasy of being able to manipulate you and control you later over the long term. That's what about the love bomb that is enjoyable to a narcissist or toxic person. It's not the possibility of you being there and going on a journey of exploration with them over time. No, it's them turning you into an appliance that they enjoy about the love bomb phase, but they're actually irritated within it. And if you're a high maintenance type person, if you require a lot of energy, if you're a high energy individual and they have to go through, a lot of hoops to go through that love bomb with you, they're going to punish you for it later. So it's actually the opposite of a traditional relationship. You feel like you're enjoying the love, but it's really toxic and it's like a drug and you're being manipulated. The love bomb is a form of manipulation. 100%. Never doubt that and never mistake that. And they're going to punish you for it. They're not enjoying that time. They're putting on that facade for you as if they are enjoying it. But that's for your benefit. They actually hate it. And that love bomb that the new supply is experiencing with this toxic person or this narcissist is being funded by someone else. Process that. That love bomb phase that you are in or that you're currently in is being fueled by someone else's energy. And what is that saying? What is that saying? Put that into perspective. The fact that your connection isn't even genuine between just you and this individual on a spiritual level, on a level of honesty and truth and openness and honesty and communication. Oh no, it's being fueled by someone else. Someone else is involved in your connection and you can't quite tell that yet because it's new. So that's the struggle that the new supply has to deal with. And they don't understand quite yet. They don't know. Like I said, sometimes sources of supply, when they're in that phase of being like the new supply and they kind of keep them on the back burner, it's because they're pushing their buttons and planting those seeds. And they're going to be little mini, devaluations within that just to see what this new supply can take, while you as the steady Eddie and the main source of supply over here is keeping everything afloat. So that's the difference to me, and we can continue to expand on it later. But as the new supply over here, you didn't get a different narcissist than the person who was the main source of supply and who was a steady Eddie. This is the same narc. They're not going to change, and they're going to get that same cycle of love bomb, devaluation, and discard that the main source of supply got. That narcissist didn't change. If they are on social media, which you shouldn't be looking at, but if they are on social media performing or using flying monkeys and demonstrating to you that things are great, that's all in your mind. That's a narrative that you're writing, but you're not there. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors, especially if you've fallen back and given that rubber band and you're healing within yourself. They're going to show you highlights to make it look away, because that's what narcissists and toxic people do, control a narrative. They're not going to want to let you see a crack in the facade. But if you went through it over here, it's happening over there in different phases. But see, we're in a place where we're looking to heal. We're not even much concerned with the other sources of supply, because there's more than one. There's more than 2 or 3. Who knows? Who's to say? But we've just come to a point where we know that we're not looking to participate in that. All right. And they're going to go through that same cycle of love bomb, devaluation, and discard with a new supply. And they're going to get their turn too. Don't be surprised if at some point in time, that same new supply who may or may not have known about you was sitting back and enjoying the manipulation in the attention of that narcissist. They'll come calling you. They'll be reaching out to you to get understanding. If they happen to, snoop a little bit, go through the narcissist or the toxic person's phone. Because what may also happen is the narcissist will start to speak highly of you to the new supply as a way of devaluing them and creating the default triangulation. So don't be surprised if they reach out. Like I said, check out the Healing and Understanding playlist so you can get, just some more insight and some more context into this conversation if you are new to the channel. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Definitely feel free to share of yourself. Speak your truth as always. Drop it down in the comment section. Let's engage with one another. It's a great opportunity for us to allow each other to feel seen and heard, to share our experiences. It helps out the channel so much, and it gives us visibility, pushes out the content. All right. So other people who need to get this, who need to see this, who need this healing can get this information. All right. It is appreciated. Tap that like button. As always, it is much appreciated. All right. Check the description box again. I'm going to pay some homage to the other creators that I have watched. Definitely love to share information. That's what I'm all about here. We are building community. All right. Check the about page on YouTube. All right. All the links to my socials. I'll go ahead and throw my Instagram up on the screen. Worthy XIIXII. All lowercase letters, Worthy1212 on Instagram. Check me out over there. Let's interact. I want to see your reels. I want to see your pictures. If you want to shoot me a DM, Instagram is a great way to reach me. I'm consistent over there. So let's fellowship over there as well. Send me an email to askbizlifestyle@gmail.com. That is askbizlifestyle@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, you want to have a discussion offline, or if you have a video recommendation or even feedback, reach out to me. Do not hesitate to do that. I'm here. And as some of you know, I'm definitely going to reply to you. You give me love in the comment section. You follow me over on Insta, or you shoot me an email. I'm going to give you that love back. All right. You want to DM me, reach out to me. Those are some ways to do it. The address to my PO box is there. If you want to shoot anything over, I will definitely give you that love. You want to shoot a t-shirt over. You want a little bit of, exposure for a brand. You want to shoot anything over. We'll definitely connect that way. And I appreciate you. The links to my Cash App and my PayPal are there. If you ever want to make a small donation to the channel, it would be much appreciated. I'm so grateful, and I'm here to stay. And thank you all for your understanding. I hope that life has been kind to you. And I appreciate you all giving me a safe space to be myself and share information. Again, this isn't about perfection. And I'm coming to a place where I want to be able to create content for you all more and more on this topic and other topics. This is a lifestyle-based channel. So please do show love and support, the other forms of content on the channel. But I will continue to share myself as it pertains to, relationships and healing and growing, because I definitely do want to help people. And I'm here to serve for sure. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you all. I thank you so much. It's about authenticity, not perfection. I'm being myself, and I'm more and more comfortable to do that in front of the camera. And I thank you. I cannot do that without you. And as always, I believe in you. So you be sure to do the same thing. Until we meet again, we out.